Good gracious, it's another week's episode of Cosmic Crit, and you're all here to join us on a space adventure through the Chuva system. This is your GM Patrick with a quick announcement before the game kicks off this week, and Midnight Squad goes on to blast some more swarm components, no doubt, on this blasted battlefield. I am super excited to announce that our Pirate Patreon podcast has been fully funded by our amazing Pronkin Patreons and fancy new Marmalade backers, not to mention our Dragon Masters. But not only do we have enough of you all supporting that podcast, we have so many, we're going to be going weekly with it. That's right, if you join up now, there's going to be about 4 full episodes out at this point, including episode 0 for you to digest on the Patreon. Also, pretty big news, we have a name for the show as voted on by our early adopters. The Skull and Shackles actual playthrough is going to be called Dead Men Roll No Crits. This week's episode is a special background introduction to one of our 4 player characters, Honto, our lizard folk monk, the scion of his people's dreamers, played by none other than Seth, aka Mistaken Potatoes. You're not going to want to miss a week of this podcast, so join now and listen to about 5 hours or so of content that is out there. We really hope you enjoy the tales of the Wormwood crew as it unfolds, and I personally guarantee you're not going to know where exactly things are going to go, even if, like me, you've ran as a GM or played the classic Skull and Shackles first edition Pathfinder Adventure Path before. It's going to take some right turns, maybe some unexpected places are going to show up. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's introduction. Thank you everyone for sticking with old Cosmic Crit. As we expand and we have fun playing some more games online, Starfinder is always going to be my baby, but it's great to have a new place to try out 2nd edition Pathfinder. Anyway, let's get back to Midnight Squad meeting their new friends and perhaps a new enemy in this week's episode. It's number 145, and we call it Depravedheart.
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
It's time to pee on the floor and watch someone die in a house fire and get to work on time as a criminal mastermind in order to earn simoleons in this week's episode of The Sim Crits. Hi there, this is GM Patrick, aka your gaming MVP, telling you when to eat, when to sleep, and when to make sweet whoopee. Joining me in rearranging furniture so they cannot escape are my 5 friends and roommates. To my right, she whips on her lab coat before running out the door saying, "Abba dabba dabba dabba." It's Rebecca rolling with Zinnia.
Hello.
Across from her, he likes to leave his dirty dishes wherever he pleases. It's True, delivering Echo 7.
And suddenly, Patrick built a brick wall around Miles' character until he slowly went crazy and died.
Speaking of death, to my right, this guy's seen so much death, the Grim Reaper sleeps on his futon couch. It's Tyler dredging up to Vasho.
Howdy, howdy.
Across from him, this neat freak has a tantrum if you leave wet spots on the floor. It's Shabert playing his Trest.
I think they call it woohoo.
Close enough. And across the digital table, this potted plant somehow makes everyone that looks at him clap with joy. It's Miles, mixing it up with Sprouts.
Good evening.
Yeah, right in the intro for this one, I was like, this game is weird.
Like, I've never played Sims. I've only ever watched, I think, the McElroy brothers do something with it. Do people really just pee on the floor?
They just straight up pee on the floor.
If they don't get to the toilet in time, yeah.
You know,
or if
like
they're blocked
you do
from
in
it.
real life.
Or you make a house and then you create an elaborate hedge maze to get to the street that takes 7 hours to get to the street, so that they're always late for work and they're dropped off and they take 7 hours to get to their house and then immediately have to turn around to go back to work. It's
Sim games turn into
Like how psychotic are you?
Dante's level of very quickly. Like that roller coaster tycoon is like
I'm just gonna stick to Zoo Planet.
The strategy of like I don't want to have to deal with this sim anymore, so I'm just gonna build 4 walls around them, just like over on the side of the screen, and we're just not gonna pay attention to that anymore.
all the other Sims are like eating dinner and playing video games and stuff. Like yay! Someone's like yelling behind the wall like a Poe short story.
Yeah, until
bricked up
until they just die.
It's a weird game. Hey, we are back once more for Starfinder action. Oh, why didn't I call it Simfinder? Close enough. Yeah, you guys, you earned a little bit of rest here, as last week was one of the most difficult fights I think of this season so far. So let's get back into it. Let's recap so you can rest and talk to Miles real quick so he can tell us what happened last time on Cosmic Crit.
Illemchuuva, an acid-washed rock left in the wake of the swarm's invasion. Setting foot here, and I could tell this was a dead planet. It stank to high heaven. When we made our way from the ship, we riled up the natives. Some old friends in the swarm from back on Suskalon. About 100 of them. 100 dritters are one thing, but 2 new flyers set about attacking old Trest and Devasho? I couldn't have that, could I? We dealt with the bugs, but we had support. Some gunners graced us with covering fire. After the battle, we met some of the members of the Clade Company. It's true what the Kasatha say. It's good to have some friends in low places.
Hey, do we all remember that time where I sang Friends in Low Places in Nikithi's voice?
Goodness.
I was trying to think of what
and you guys were all
works. I wanted to do it so bad.
Yeah, and I was like, no, that's a bad idea. And you guys were like, no, that's what makes it funny. And then we released it and everyone was like, Tyler, what were you thinking?
It was more that you released the album 12-minute long cut of that song instead of
Nobody said we're not going to do the whole songs. Everybody's like, we're going to do karaoke, which is the whole song. Nobody was
to be fair.
gonna do
I did my whole song.
Yes.
Usually you sit down before the end of the song because you've drank too much, and that was evident with your performance, Tyler. So we figured it'd be fairly short. You guys are indeed going to ground, being led towards a series of caverns by a Sheeran on some robotic kind of prosthetic legs. A female Sheeran named Epigene, and this is what she looks like here. We've got some character art for her, revealing the spelling of a Sheeran's name. You're welcome. Epigene. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the this is some of my favorite Sheeran art. Definitely
pretty
in this
cool.
campaign, but yeah.
Yeah, those robotic legs are super cool.
They make me think of Mech Warrior.
Oh, because they have the reversed knee, or like the extra knee, which Sheeran have already, but it's cool.
I also like that the artist made a very poignant decision to give them a collared shirt underneath the armor. This person is very professional.
Epigene is with her are a Bolita, like a centipede-like alien named Kokan, and there's a bulky looking android named Q. And
Does Kokan like to party?
Kokan is the least party full of the group, and Q has said nothing while you guys have been walking. So, but they all look fairly ragtag. They have mismatched armor and weapons here, unlike the severely polished and some cases new SDF armor that you guys are wearing. And about a mile away, they lead you into a chasm and then down on one side through a series of winding underground tunnels. And it's at this point Epigene looks back over you and says, "If you haven't activated your environmentals, do so now. The toxic gases seep down into the tunnels and it can get lethal quick."
Echo 7 activates his smirking emoji face.
I mean, you have them on your armor, right? You can at least put them on.
Well, he doesn't
Not
breathe,
everything.
so...
Okay, well, there could be some corrosive stuff coming
Well,
your way, too.
I'm pretty sure when we got out of the ship, we all turned our environmental protections on. So they've been on.
I would just say she's double checking to make sure, because as you guys do get down a little ways it does seem fairly dangerous. These caverns, they show some swarm damage, but for the most part, what you're seeing is, collapses and erosion in parts, big cracks forming in the walls. There's a part where Echiax kind of halts you abruptly at an intersection of three paths, and as a fissure opens up in the tunnel in front of you and just starts spewing magma on the floor. So Bashirin kind of backtracks a bit to take you a different route, and after a little whiles, you're away from the surface. She'll come to like what looks like a very stable cavern and allow you guys to catch up, get a 10 minutes rest. And I imagine some of you are down into HP damage. If you want to heal that up, you can as well.
Whew, yeah.
That would be one.
I will be resting.
Trest, do you have that healing circle spell? The healing chain?
Ooh, healing chain.
Isn't there one? Isn't there a...
Oh, no, I don't know what you mean. No, that's part of the healer's sort of path. And so it's very cool, but I don't have it. Let's see. Devasho, how's your HP doing right now?
Halved.
What number are you down?
I'm down 20.
Okay.
I'm down to 18.
You are down to 18 or you're down 18?
Down to 18 from 41.
Oh, he needs it
So
a little
23. Okay. So
Granted, I don't take as much damage as Devasho does. So
still,
I've got
let's
some
get that back up.
some stimmies, some
No, let's go ahead and use these 10-minute heals.
Is there anyone I should ask that doesn't want to use an RP at this point? Anybody not resting?
I'm taking mine, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. So do you want to roll those heals so you get all your SP back, everyone? And what you got for healing?
For these two heals, I'm going to pull out that staff of healing.
Ooh.
And I'm going to use that for one of the heals, and use just my regular healing touch for the other one. So it'll be both of my daily uses of that.
Now, does that give you the spell at the highest level?
No, so that is just 5 points per level, so 25 points each.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like a downtime action sort of thing. So
right.
And since I have that staff, I can do it a second time per day.
So we were talking off air. Drew, you also wanted to craft another grenade this time.
If I have the time to do it.
Yeah, you threw like 3 in this last combat, so that makes sense. As you guys are resting up here, about 10 minutes into this, there is a deep bone aching kind of thrum that grows, shaking the walls here, shaking the stone and earth all around you. Echiax puts a claw up to her mandibles and stops moving, asking everyone for silence. The noise becomes kind of cacophonous, and the cavern above you shakes, dirt covering you all, falling from the ceiling here. And it passes in a few minutes, and she gives an explanation saying, that was one of the big ones, the swarm extractor imagos. And you guys saw these things from space and were admiring them before we started recording. It's these big bugs that you saw dotting the landscape as you flew in.
Boy, admiring is a strong word.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of admiration for what's going on here.
It's veiny.
Yeah, listener, these are ticks that are trying to get into like the Iron Man competition of tick.
They are building size, like some 100 feet tall, 250 feet long swarm creatures that are crawling over the surface of Illemchuuva. And indeed, she goes on to kind of explain and says, one of those imagos was repositioning to start siphoning another section of the crust. They burrow down deep and suck out the natural resources, whatever they can get, gases and fuels. Don't know if they can detect us down here, so best to be on the safe side when they passed. When you all are ready, we'll continue on. We still have a few miles to go.
So that is their function then. They harvest resources?
They take what they can, and that is fed up into the larger swarm ships and processed off planet, we believe.
Are they capable combatants?
The Imagos are little more than, like you said, ticks, leeches, but they are formidable. I've seen starships blast them in the side and do no damage. Welcome to Illemchuuva, by the way. What you all are from another planet that got by the swarmies?
Yeah, we're originally from Suskalon.
What all did you do before the war?
I actually studied here on Illemchuuva, so it's admittedly a little strange to be back here.
Oh my.
Especially under the circumstances.
I was a private detective back on Absalom.
Just more war.
I was a guard for Hylaxian ambassadors.
I farmed.
Really? I guess we have not talked about this, but you farmed?
Among
Where?
other things.
Yeah, where'd you get that gun, by the way? Is that a farming gun?
Remember that whole side plot in book 1 where we found that storage facility? We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Trest, you. What made you join up for duty even before the swarm started in on you all on Suskalon? Did you come from a military family?
No, not so much. I don't know. It's seemed as good a way to live as any. But as it happens, it's also a pretty good way to die. So,
Not many of our kind choose this path. I myself was a mechanic in the Ud spaceport, but before that, Devasho, I used to run security when I was more of a soft shell. I got tired of that game, so working on starships for a few years was a nice vacation. But that's when the swarm attacked Illemchuuva.
I understand. Security is a lot of standing around and hearing lofty people talk about lofty things.
So then, how long have you been hiding?
Better part of a year after the invasion. It wasn't long before the planet fell. I gathered what survivors I can, and we took into the sewers of Uds and organized and survived down there for months. And that's when Eskimo found us and taught us all how to fight back. And that's where Clade Company came from. We formed a new army that could take on the swarm with that irascible Bolita's help.
How many of you are there?
Kokan, one of the other soldiers with her, kind of speaks up and says,
Yeah, I remember before what the Bolita settlement underground used to be like. We had these grand halls and markets with thousands of our children grew up safe. Young ones fell in love, but many of them have left. That's where we're going now. There are still hundreds of us. We've turned it into a barracks at the end of the world beneath the feet of those hideous Imagos.
She says, indeed, they're taking you to what seems to be a military encampment deep underground where they retreat to. And as you said last week, is deep within kind of the rock bed of the planet. So outside the dredgers' kind of purview, at least.
Do you know if there are any survivors from the university?
Yes, no, I'm sure there's at least one or two. I remember I pulled out of Uds, but well, we'll take you there. We'll see what we can find. You guys can continue on, and before long, these tunnels kind of open up into, after a few more miles and hours of travel, a larger cavern with muddy illumination from strings of LED lights. The dull drone of generator motors fills the air here as you hear the sounds of many people working, kind of dozens of people armored up and carrying weapons, sound of crates like hitting one another, an angle grinder in the distance working on some kind of vehicle. And I've got art of what this little settlement looks like, this underground area.
Ooh.
So it is a huge, underground ravine here that indeed looks like a military encampment, and you see multiple
I'm a fan of this.
Bolitas, as well as many other species represented here.
Is that a Formian here in the foreground?
Yeah, Formians. There's more Sheeran. You see some big ol' Han and Trox too, as well as other species from like the Pact. Humans, people with Orcish ancestry, Vesk, and even a Karasha Lashunta here.
Are the majority of the folks here insectoid in sort of nature?
A lot of them are, and as Kokon kind of explains, this was a Bolida colony, but there were a lot of other insectoids that lived down there. Many have evacuated the planet, but some were kind of left behind. And as you're walking through this underground city, you indeed turn some heads and can kind of pick up the mood as being fairly dour. Reminds you immediately of walking into the refugee camp back on Susclin during the evacuation. As you're making your way through the crowd here, you see a Bolida in scuffed up armor who's missing an antenna segment that almost mirrors your wound, Trest, kind of like hurrying on several legs, giving you some welcoming gestures with his many appendages. And I've got art for what this guy looks like down here. This is Heskemu.
I give him a little mental handshake as he walks by.
Itchiax, you're back! Kokon and Q, good to see your patrol was safe and fruitful, apparently. Looks like you've doubled up your numbers, though. Who in the acid pits of Ilum are you all, and what the gods did you anger to end up on this rock?
Why, we are a Midnight Squad. We are of the Susclin Defense Forces. We came here to look for answers about the swarm, but it seems there's more than the swarm here. I must congratulate you on your intrepid defense.
Well, we're just surviving down here. I don't know about defense. My name is Heskemu. Welcome to Clade Company. We're the survivors here on Illemchuuva, the fighters, the underground resistance. You're coming here looking for answers. What exactly is your business on Illemchuuva? You're pretty far from home, if I recall.
Well, we're looking for a professor. He did some writing about something called the Forever Reliquary. You heard of it?
Oh, he will gesture to some crates to have a seat around like an LED lamp, and maybe can offer you guys some water to rest up here.
Sprouts takes the water and then empties the cup and puts his own flasks, containments in there.
Did you say Forever Reliquary?
I did.
Well, can't say that rings any bells in the old belfry. Soldiers, what was it? Say you were looking for someone, a professor?
Yes, the Sheeran by the name of Galchak, I think.
Well, I don't know too much about that university upstairs, save it's deep in swarm-occupied territory in the city of Uds. Etchiax, didn't you pull a kid out that was going to classes there? Maybe you all can talk to him. He can tell you about the situation when the swarm attacked.
Are you telling me there's still people there?
Not any that I can tell. We've got a forward based on the eastern side of Uds, but the western side is crawling with the swarmies. We ain't got much but in the way of a long-distance patrol of that area. It seems like a hotbed of them.
Well, it seems this kid might be our only lead. I appreciate it.
Well, we can get you set up with him, but if you all are going to be here a while, we want to welcome you, and we've got plenty of people to help you. If you need any weapons, armor, we can craft that up. We don't get many visitors here, as you can probably guess.
Yes, I can imagine that trade and tourism has been somewhat lacking as of late.
Well, I'd love to hear about the situation on Susclin. Did the swarm take over and move in?
That's one way of putting it.
Well, their standard MO, from what I understand, is they'll
take over a planet and strip her of resources, then fly off to find someplace else. But they've been here nearly an entire year, and they ain't moved on yet.
Do you have any idea of what they might be looking for?
It's a good question, one I've asked myself many times.
His multiple sets of arms are kind of gesticulating furiously.
There's an awful lot of these creatures all over Oods, especially along that northwestern edge. We're not really sure why. We've been doing some advanced scouting, like I said, to try and learn more, but between the swarm patrols and the tremors from the extractor imago on the western edge of the city, it's pretty dangerous.
Sorry, you said north side? The north side is overrun, or?
Northwestern, I believe.
Northwestern.
And the university is in the northwestern portion, is that right?
Great question. Yes. I think I said it was on the eastern side, but I think it's on the western side.
Okay, so it's so the upshot is like we need to go into like deeper into swarm territory to get to the university.
Yeah, they have a forward base on the western side, but it's on like the very edge of the city, and he can explain that and kind of what they see. They will explain that the patrol that you saw, there's like 10 times as many dredgers and escachides and things flying around that side of the city.
Although our primary mission is to track down this professor, if there is anything we can do here to help your resistance along the way, I would certainly be happy to lend aid.
Well, I'll think on that. If you all are dead set though on getting inside Oods, well, that might be a suicide mission. It's as I said, it's dangerous over there. But don't worry about that right now. Once we'll have Etchiax here set you up with a place where you can get a good night's sleep, and we'll figure that out in the morning.
That is most kind. Thank you. Boop, boop, boop. I walk down the gangway to my bed.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. There is, if you guys have UPBs, burn in a hole in your pocket. There are people here that can like help you craft things if you don't have the appropriate skills or just trade in general.
Can I charge my battery overnight?
Yes.
Do I have resources to do that?
Batteries and armor. If you guys need to, you can take your armor off and charge it up.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
is that going to be dangerous given the atmosphere?
Here it is. They seem to have like air filtration, and what looks like container shipping containers are kind of like dug into the walls, and they look fairly airtight. The places where they're taking you to rest up.
Jabert, how much healing did you do earlier with those abilities?
25 to each of you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Or to Tyler and Drew.
Yeah, so you guys, most everyone should be okay. Was anyone else deep into hit points? No. Etchiax leads you down this gangway and says, I will take you to the survivor that escaped Zesh University when the swarm invaded. Perhaps they have some maps or knowledge that might be of use to you in your mission. She indeed shows you some of these cubbies in the side of the cavern covered with particle and plastic board, making small apartments, and takes you to one that has a large, messy library of books stored in crates in front of it. And who answers the door is someone, Zinnia, that you recall from your days here in university, a student you once went to Zesh University with, a Shirin named Jadvata. He enters the door and sees you and kind of recognizes you and will just break down as sees an old friend. And we've got art for Jadvata as well. There's so much great bug art here in this part. He's wearing not bifocals, but just like multiple sets of glasses on his shearing head.
We got a quadruple nerd on our hands here, guys.
Whatever, 8 eyes.
4 eyes. Right.
Yeah, he's a literal 4 eyes. And Jafata said, as soon as he sees you, he's like, "Oh, I didn't think anyone I knew from Zesh was still alive. I heard you were
moving on to the Project Amphisbania, but I didn't know that you were off planet. It is so good to see you, Zinnia.
It's wonderful to see you. I admit it's been rough seeing the planet this way. I mean, last time I was here, it looked completely different.
You thought, I'm sure I was dead, but I thought you were dead too. It's funny, we have survived this terribleness.
It's pretty amazing. Did anybody else survive?
There were not many. The city was hit very hard when the swarm invaded. It was one of their main landing sites, and they unloaded millions into the streets, and it was a dark time.
How did you manage to escape?
He looks over at Etchiax and says, "Oh, she saved me. My number was punched. One of the small ones was on me, and I think I was about to tear out my cloaca, but she knocked it off, stunned it long enough for us to escape into the sewers. Etchiax, you saved my life."
Do you want to pick a different organ?
No, it tried to rip out my cloaca.
Oh, how about that? Oh boy.
We have those right, fellow Sheeran?
Almost certainly.
Okay, cool.
Whatever you want to call it, it's fine.
Okay. Well, Zinnia, you and your boyfriend can catch up. I'm gonna go to bed.
Boyfriend?
Listen, we keep running into everybody else's old flames. We got Briar, now 8 Eyes. I can't keep track of
Briar's not a flame, it's a partner.
Not everything's sexual, Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
I don't ask questions and I do not expect to know them. I just assume everybody...
You just make blanket assumptions about people. That sounds good.
You see a toaster in the corner of his apartment, and you're like, oh, is that Echo 7's old flame?
For real, though, my fanships are really hot this season. I'm hoping they all work out.
Listen, if you want subtlety, talk to my husband. I hit things hard.
Devasha is just like in his room writing /fic of everybody.
So Devasha goes to bed. Anyone else want to go to bed and not interact with Javata?
Echo will hang out for a little bit, but if he starts talking about his Spacebook page, we're gonna bounce.
Because Javata is possessed by a demon, and everyone has to roll initiative except for Tyler, who's asleep. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes!
Hey.
I win again!
Well, what brings you to talk to me? Did you hear that I was alive and you wanted to check up on your old classmate?
Well, I hadn't heard, and let me tell you, it is a wonderful surprise about that. I mean, congratulations on surviving, but really we're here because we're looking for some information. We learned about a professor who I don't remember. I don't think I took a lot of philosophy courses or whatever he taught. But he had written about the Forever Reliquary, and his name was Galchek. He was a Sheeran. Are you familiar?
Yeah, of course. I remember taking Galchak's classes. He was a very wise professor, but always so preoccupied, didn't have the time of day for students. I remember whenever I went to his office for help on a paper or what have you, he seemed to spend more time just showing off his collection of relics and artifacts than he did in instructing as a teacher.
Surely you appreciated that, right? I mean, it was fascinating stuff.
It wasn't really my intended major, but he was so enthused about all these weird relics.
Listen, kid, as fascinating as your critique of your old teacher is, you seen him? Because that's what we're here for.
Almost and certainly he is dead. If he was in the university, I can't imagine anyone topside living through this.
Those relics, though, where might they be?
Oh, in his office, of course. I remember he had some kind of weapon of some sort or another he was very proud of. Said it was blessed by Hylax herself, if you believe that kind of thing.
You're talking about the Forever Reliquary?
I don't think that's what it was called, but it was something having to do with the goddess Hylax, and he seemed pretty devout about the thing.
handled it with care.
Well, we should perhaps go and pay this office a visit. Can you give us directions? How we would get there if we were able to get to the campus?
He pulls out a brochure that's like a bookmark in one of these old-fashioned paper books that he's got here. That is like, welcome to Zesh University, and it's got a very cheerful map on it that almost entirely, I'm sure, is very out of date because of all the destroyed buildings in the city.
Yeah.
It says, this is the best I can do right now. There's no kind of infosphere here on the planet. Boy, it's so weird to see you, Zinnia. I to truth be told, I was thinking about you just last week. I'd heard from some of the patrols that they saw a Strix had landed here on Illemchuuva, and I thought, well, maybe it's Zinnia coming back, but it was just a rumor. But yeah, one of those patrols swore they saw one of your kind flying above Oods just a few days ago.
Oh, that's strange. We hadn't arrived yet, right?
Did you just get here? Yeah. I didn't know of any other Strix in Oods before it fell, but maybe there is someone alive.
It's very interesting.
He will offer to make you guys tea or some other fairly non-luxurious items he has in his like ice box here. But you guys can get some rest, and Echiax will bring you a proper meal in the form of a soup that looks like kind of a nutrient paste with very large sliced subterranean Illim mushrooms.
Just like my planter used to make.
It's like plant food, yes. It is fairly hearty stuff, but probably not the most tasteful. But yeah, after this meal, you guys can sleep it off and wake up early the next day, and she'll come back. Etiax asks you to follow her back to Clade Company Command to talk with Huskworld, who wants to talk to you about Zesh University.
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right.
When you get back to this like ring of crates that have been formed into a table, you see on it what looks like hand-drawn maps, as well as the cut up and kind of destroyed pictures of various reconnaissance cobbled together from what looks like old satellite images, as they're still showing some green parks and spaces, as well as photographs from the ground. The Bolito welcomes you in and says, hey there, STF. I got to looking into your plan to head into Zesh University, and well, we had one of our long-distance patrols last night outside of our forward base in the city do some scouting, and, well, we got a whole heap of problems. About few hundred problems. Swarms crawling all over Zesh University. Looks like a magnet form of some kind. They got groundlings and flyers and everything in between.
That makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
why does that make sense?
According to Zinnia's ex-boyfriend, the professor there had a few Hylaxian artifacts. When we were on Suskalon, we went to a temple of Hylax, and it seemed like the swarm gravitated to its power. The Hylaxian power attracted them greatly. It makes sense that the artifacts in his office have attracted them there as well.
Now, in the entire time I've fought the swarm, I've only seen them consume and move on. What do they have to do with religious objects of some kind?
I do not know, but on Suskalon there was a large crystal object, if I'm remembering correctly, and it changed them. It altered their psyche somehow. I am not the scientist, though. Zinnia could probably explain it better than I.
Yeah, that's a magic thing. I don't get it.
No, whatever reason they're stuck there. The bugs are just crawling all over the place, and well, besides that, there's an extractor imago just outside the city, making the whole dang plate unstable. There's a huge cleft right down the center of the town, separating the east and west sides, and where Zesh lies is just precariously close to falling in. So I did some thinking and came up with a plan. It's kind of a two Vorfoma with one rock scenario, if you will. But we're going to need your firepower to get it done. And if you care to, I want to invite you into Clade Company for a special mission.
We'd be happy to join. What's your plan?
will pop out a very kind of sketchy and like frame jumping hologram that like overlays on top of this map with a holographic recreation of the Extractor Imago bug. And Eskimo says, well, the plan is called Operation Bug Buster. I am proposing a multi-point attack on the nearest extractor. We cause a distraction with my soldiers drawing off swarm patrols in the area, and then we have you all sneak inside the bug, disable it from the inside. The thing will try and call for reinforcements, and we think they'll pull components from nearby Zesh University, allowing you all a little easier way to sneak in. But the ground around the university will be a lot more stable, a lot safer if you take that Imago out. And it's a win-win scenario. It's Clade Company gets to take down one of these big bugs, and we get you all set on your mission here. What do you all say?
What kind of resistance can we expect inside that Extractor Imago?
I mean, it's large enough to hold various swarm components inside of it. It's large enough for you all to climb in, and we have seen bugs entering and exiting before, but we don't think it's many.
Now, another question I've got for you. First time we set foot on this rock, we encountered some swarm we'd never seen before. Can we share some notes on what you guys have seen and maybe get a little bit ahead of schedule, so they say, on some what we've seen, what you've seen?
Are you talking about the Escachites?
Yeah,
I mean, you pretty much know most everything about them. They're just a brawny flyer, kind of like warrior bug.
I'm meaning more if there were any other kind of swarm that they had seen that we hadn't seen before.
Sure, with that, they will describe one that you guys have already seen before as well, another bipedal swarm component called a Korvox, which is the bug that seemed to be in command of several other bugs when it attacked the Terminus Wild as you guys were escaping Susquehanna. So they'll describe that, and another one that they don't have a lot of intel on, but they've seen coming and going from the Imagos that they call an Epigene.
Epigene?
Yeah, but they're not entirely sure what exactly these swarm are, but they are also a bipedal component.
Okay. Well, it sounds risky. Have you ever brought one of these things down before? Any ideas what it's going to take?
There have been soldiers that have tried to get inside and get out, but it's a horror show in there. The few that have made it out haven't been able to take one down from the inside, but it's got organs and things like any other bug, and if you can find a way to disable them, then you're probably the best one suited for it. I had a speaking with this former classmate of yours, Cinia. Said that you're some kind of exobiology expert. Worked with.
I am.
Yeah, worked with the project here, investigating the swarm. If anyone's suited, you'll probably be best to lead this mission inside. Get your party through this behemoth and figure out a way to take it down. Like I said, you might encounter some workers inside, but it's massive. The Imago is huge. It's like a giant building, giant vehicle for the swarm.
So,
speaking of which, is there any preparation that I can do before we go on this mission? Is there any research I can do on this type of swarm? Does research like that exist through the BBRC or Infosphere?
Yeah, I don't think anyone. These are usually brought in like well after the swarm invade a planet to start stripping the resources. So rarely has anyone had this kind of unfettered access to one, let alone taken readings or samples from inside of a Imago. So not a ton. There's a lot of satellite images and things that you might have seen of these creatures before and kind of know the basic premise of them, which is indeed they have a huge mouth, a proboscis that plunges deep inside the earth and basically drills for oil and things like that. Natural gases. They are literally sucking the planet dry.
now I hate to ask this, because I know y'all are strapped for as much as he can possibly get, but you tell us that no team you've ever had has come out of one of these things alive.
Not intact, at least.
Anything you can give us to maybe give us a little bit more of an edge as we go in there? Any equipment, any weapons, any explosives, anything to help us take the edge off, as it were.
Oh, we look like we're living in the lap of luxury here. You all with your fancy armor and weapons, and Etchiax said you came in on a ship that didn't have a scratch on her. Well, that depends on what you need. Obviously, we got supplies we can try and help you out with, but we need those to survive here as well. What are you thinking about?
You have had more experience fighting the swarm, especially on this planet, than any other organization that we have come across so far. Y'all have survived in ways that we could not possibly imagine. You got to have some best practices. You got to have something that can take a knockout on a dredger of Vorfoma, something.
Oh yeah, don't take your finger off that trigger. But no, flattery will get you everywhere. We are adept at killing bugs and surviving here on Illemchuuva. Why don't you guys make me if you are indeed agreeing to this mission, you can make me a collective diplomacy check. Whoever wants to roll the primary one, anyone else can aid, and see if he has any items to
I imagine Sprouts will be the primary.
Yeah, Sprouts, what do you got in diplomacy?
I've got... Pull it up.
You and the party
10.
face at this point.
Okay.
Oh, +10.
Yeah, I've got +7.
I too have +10.
I've got +0, so don't count on me for nothing.
Why don't we each try to make an individual check so we can get...
Okay, if you want to do that way, or you can aid. It's up to you, but just say before you roll.
Yeah, I think aiding aiding the +10s is gonna be the better option.
But you want both Tyler and Miles to roll individually.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
you guys,
there's an aid.
Okay.
You guys aid Miles. I'll roll just solo. I mean, I don't think I can beat him. Definitely can't.
Ooh. Well, don't worry. We don't need any aids because that's almost enough. Even if you hadn't agreed to take out the Extractor Mago to get some freebies off our friend Heskamu. Indeed, he has his own personal stash. He's going to open up a crate nearby and pulls out a couple of armor upgrades, 2 filtered rebreather units, and in addition to that, 3 doses of spray flesh. So some medical supplies here for you guys.
Nice.
Dope.
Whatever he can.
We understand that these are vital, and we do appreciate them.
I'm putting my best security detail on the job with you. Etchiax, it's your responsibility to keep these soldiers safe. Leave none of them behind and help them get onto their OBJ in Zesh University. Do you think you and your soldiers are ready for some real combat? Etchiax kind of will lock and load, of course, her rifle and says, "Oh, by the fires of the drift, you know we're ready to squash some bugs."
Is that... Still sounds weird hearing one of us say it.
I'm a shear and I ain't no bug. Indeed, you guys can make some plans over the next couple hours, maybe before you move out, as Etchiax tells you the trip will take the better part of the day, so getting back might take as long, and she doesn't know how long you're going to spend in the university, so she tells you, take provisions, some supplies in case of a worst case scenario, so food and things like that. And as you guys are getting your batteries back from the charger here in the center of the encampment, she'll sidle up to you, Trest, and says, I hope you don't mind me saying this, being too forward, soldier, but you're one of the finest shearing I've seen in a long time. And if you get shot up on this mission, it's going to be a sin against Hylax. So you got to keep yours and your squad alive. You hear me?
I hear you. Don't worry. We'll get back in one piece, and we'll bring that thing down. You can count on it.
Months underground have made me a little too blunt, I worry. I wasn't very courtly of me, but when you've lived with death this long, you learn to speak your mind. When this mission's over, I want to spend some more time with you. Talk of Suskland. Talk of the time before the war.
Yes, let's do that.
Your guys' travels through the eastern tunnels here are very similar to your ones the previous day. They're slow. Somewhat dangerous.
Before we move off of this, do you mind if I take advantage of the craft something up real quick?
No, I mean, you've got the better part of the afternoon. You can also buy stuff with just trading UPBs.
I mean, either way, it's a level 5 piece of armor. I probably need to upgrade my armor at this point. I've sort of held out as long as I could, but
what you getting?
If we might be out there for a few days, I need something that has environmental protections longer than 2 days, and so. I'm going to go for some Lashunta ringware too, I think.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So,
anybody else have any supplies to purchase? I know we just kind of did a resupply at the end of book 2, but
I'm going to buy a couple of
now
Mark
I'm wondering
II healing serums.
Oh, Drew's getting ready for a beatdown.
Look, that was not fun the last time.
I've been holding off on buying armor, but now I am wondering if I need it too. I mean, if we're going inside a bug, that seems like I need some protection. But
inside a bug. We'll make those decisions, and we will move you guys along these eastern tunnels, which are, as I said, just about as dangerous as the way into the encampment here. It's slow, very dangerous moving. You see, fissures kind of closing up routes that Etchiax was meaning to take you down. There are tremors every once in a while that cause partial cave-ins, making you double back. Occasionally, you do see caverns lit up by magma leaking into the tunnels here. And after almost a full day of marching here, like 7 or 8 hours, you come across a grisly scene in one of these caverns where it looks like pools of red liquid slowly dissolving several bug carcasses. Etchiax will kind of like put an arm up to slow you guys down as you investigate this scene. Why don't you make me a life science check? See if you can tell what exactly these things are.
That's a 25. Well, 27.
It's fairly simple, perhaps for the first of these creatures, these bug creatures. And I think that's going to be enough to figure out the other ones. The bugs are a fairly standard pest just around the universe called a Khefaks, Khefaks, that kind of will swarm up and take over trash bins and live underground. Have back on Akaton and places like that, and pretty big infestations. But this red liquid around them seems like it was a creature at one point, an ooze that has been kind of theorized to live in the deep crust of Illemchuuva that you've perhaps studied before. These are thermophilic oozes, but they are dead. Everything's dead here. But all the same, Etchiax kind of looks you guys over and says, as well to the soldiers that are traveling with you. She's brought about 5 along. She says, stay frosty. If any of those things are still alive, made it out of this battle, they might be wounded and on the defensive. So heads on a swivel, soldiers. Sorry,
what did you say they were called? The things I identified?
The ooze is a thermophilic ooze that live in and around perhaps magma or lava.
Just so I can say it, Devasha's forming the shield now.
That shield's ready to go.
That shield is ready to go.
Yeah, well, that can provide you with some illumination as well as you're marching forward. But if you guys want, not all the soldiers have their weapons drawn, but I think the Belita Kokon definitely has their sniper rifle ready to go.
Zinnia, can you understand anything about these oozes should we run into another? Is there a sample you could take to do a brief study on?
I think it takes time to do studies, but sure, I'll take a sample.
I would say to figure out some things about these things besides their name, you might have to see them alive. but I think from just looking them over, you might be able to tell that indeed if they are living like deep in the Earth's crust around magma and things like that, probably immune to fire. More than likely. Give you that one for free. And
well, their name kind of hints at that.
Yeah, and even potentially acid if they're still alive on this planet. But would you get a 25? Actually, I think from that you'd probably be able to know at least one more piece of information without seeing them after identifying them here. Is there anything else you want to know?
Is there anything that they're what's the opposite of resistant?
Weakness?
That they're weak to? Like ice or something, maybe?
I was about to say, I don't want to spoil things too much, but they are indeed weak to cold. One of the reasons they dig deep down in these underground caverns is Illemchuuva's winters are harsh.
Yeah, so when she said to stay frosty, she meant literally.
Double meaning. Double entendre.
Echo 7 readies his hail cannon.
I pull out my sword. I pretend like it's a cold sword.
You just blow on it, cool it off, just
Frosty blade.
Ice sword. It's late afternoon as you guys emerge from the caverns for the first time in over a day, and you see daylight slipping away over the western edge of the planet's horizon. It is in full light that you see it for the first time from the ground. The extractor Imago, a few hundred yards away, just this massive insectile carapace kind of undulating in the smoky sky. Yeah, that's the map we're on right now. I've got the picture of it from the one down here is kind of from the front. You see all these look like vents on its back spewing things in the side. It resembles indeed a starship-sized tick. Its head kind of plunged into the cracked earth. Its abdomen so swollen with supposedly the planet's petrochemical resources that its back legs are just grazing the ground here. It's like roly-poly on the ground. There are plumes of caustic-looking smoke spewing from these vents on its back that have coalesced into a spherical haze around it, obscuring details even as you kind of edge closer. And it shudders and kind of waggles its appendages as it seems to dig its head deeper down into the ground. As it does that, you guys feel the ground like shudder and shake. Even at this distance, you can kind of notice that the haze around it is making this area warmer. And from afar, it looks like it has some kind of infestation on it, and you realize this is dozens of dredgers just crawling over its backside, maybe picking debris off of its carapace, clearing rocks from that it's ejecting from its spiracles. Echiax pulls the scope off of her rifle and passes it around and points out a series of small openings on the extractor Imago's abdomen, and in a very matter-of-fact tone says, these spiracles are what allow the creature to breathe, and as such will provide access into the Imago's interior. Now that you guys have a close-up look at it, make me that life science check. And if anybody wants to aid Xenia in your observations, you can. Is that needed? Did you roll?
I just got a 22.
Ooh.
Couple aids, though.
Yeah, that's an aid from Trest. Pew-pew.
I will say the DC is -5 if this isn't a biology check, which I'm guessing in this case it is.
Yeah, so that's going to be enough. That looking at these openings, you can tell, besides that, this is how this thing breathes, it seems to kind of clench these valves as you notice maybe some of the dredgers getting too close to one of them. And watching it, you're pretty sure that it will have some kind of defensive or a defensive reaction if it were under attack or if it sensed itself being attacked. So these, they're just giant
I'm just going to say it, guys. There's just giant blowholes on this thing's butt that are indeed tightening up. Sphincter tightening.
Honestly, guys, go and look at the art for this thing. There's a lot. We're dancing around it. We've said some very off-color things off
so
mic.
gross.
Yeah, guys, seriously, this is nightmare fuel.
Wait till you get.
And we have to go into this.
It's like, what if a brain just had butts all over it?
Oh, just wait. Oh, Liz Liddell, you dancer, you absolute legend. It's just so good. Beyond that, you are pretty sure that, as it gets in defensive mode, it will lock down these entrances, though, perhaps tightening the spiracles, if it is indeed since that is going to be attacked. So, Chiax will kind of point in the distance to what looks like the remains of an old hydro dam on the side of a dried riverbed and says, we're going to take position over there and draw the swarm out from the Imago. Just be ready to call for us when you need extraction. When the fireworks go off over in this direction, that'll be your signal to make your way inside the bug. She kind of like gags a little bit as she says that too. Just ugh.
Great.
Are you all ready?
Ready.
Ready, Freddy? Crazy little thing called going into a giant bug.
It's about 15 minutes or so as you watch Etchiak's team of Clade Company get in position, very carefully skirting around the peripheral of this huge swarm creature. And there are like 3 clicks in your radio telling you to get ready. And then you watch in the distance as it looks like a missile launcher travels from one building in the hydro dam to another and erupts in a huge explosion, a fireball that just kind of darkens the hazy afternoon sky here. And all at once, the dredgers on the exterior of the Imago kind of scamper off in that direction. And as they do, they form up into a massive troop. Their legs of one mind, all moving in one direction in hunt/kill mode, but leaves the exterior of this thing fairly unguarded, so you guys can hustle up to the side of it and get your first view up close of this nearly 250 foot long creature, its long head embedded into the ground, its swollen abdomen kind of, like I said, rolling on the earth here, its rounded hide climbing about 100 feet into the air. It's, as you get close to it, I mean, it kind of looks soft and squishy like a maggot, but as you get close, it is a bulbous. It definitely like looks like it is bulging, but you can tell that its hide is like about 5 foot thick. It's a really thick white chitinous carapace that you believe now could easily withstand a starship blast. And as you get close to the spiracle on the south side, you can tell it is a little less tough than the hide, this entrance. It is only about 6 foot wide, though, so Devasho, you are indeed going to need to...
Yes! Nope, I can't...
Through.
Oh, I'm sorry, I cannot make it. I cannot possibly, if sometimes, life just tells you that you can't possibly go somewhere, and...
You can't win them all, guy.
I will,
Devasho, you guard the cloaca. We'll be back.
Okay.
We see these things like shudder when a dredger gets close to it. Imagine when a Devasho gets close to it, what that thing is going to do.
I should definitely go last, and don't look behind me, and don't look behind yourself and check that I'm there. Just believe in my ability to shimmy down this flesh chimney.
When there was only...
Oh, God.
It's a flesh shit. That is a very apt description. When there was only 4 sets of SCF soldier footprints, that's when Devasho was being held by you all, right? Or being carried. Let's see here. You guys see what I'm revealing here on the map? It's a flesh chimney, and
yeah, I'll go first into the tube.
Indeed, go ahead and set yourselves up in some kind of marching order.
I'll go close to the front just as the bug expert. I
feel dirty just describing this thing.
Yeah,
you said it's 6 feet wide, right?
The entrance is, and once, I mean, it's kind of like expanding and closing, but you can, as you walk up to it, just kind of like part it and like hold it open for people behind you.
None of this is
be a gentleman.
None of this is any better than when we started. It's getting worse.
I'm just gonna say, just for the record, environmental protection's on. I don't want to know what the thing smells like.
Oh, for sure.
Lilac, actually. It's really weird. No reason why it should, but it does.
Cinnamon rolls. How about that?
The previous planet it sucked up was nothing but potpourri. Apples and potpourri. Right, as you enter into the side respiratory to the spiracle, there is a sign of air kind of like rushing past you, being exhaled from this tube. Almost enough to knock you down, just like a torrent of air. And as you walk inside, the walls of this thin, long tube extend upwards about 30 feet or so in like a low hill kind of incline, a fleshy low hill upwards. And I will reveal that on the map so you guys can start making your way uptown. Making your way uptown. Here. And you can put yourselves on the map. Devasho, you can go last if you really want to. As you get into this cavern here, this it's like an airway. It does expand and contract. So at points you have to squeeze a little bit, but once you're in the hallway, it is it's large enough for you to stand up. It's like 10 feet tall.
Oh that's close enough.
Yeah, and you're all elbows and knees kind of like bumping into the side of this very spongy kind of porous walling.
I remember when I first met my husband's parents, I was very uncomfortable and awkward, but this is going to take my number one spot. I have never been more uncomfortable or awkward. I do not want to be here.
I think there are spells that can help you erase memories, so you might want to look into that after this combat. But for now, you guys look up this hill here, and at the end can see another one of these spiracles kind of maybe rhythmically opening and closing. The walls seem to be breathing themselves and exhaling these dark gases in your face, these hazy, warm gases. We've got you in marching order, right? Oop, wait. Where's Echo 7?
I think he's behind. There he is.
No, he's in the darkness or something. Yeah.
Okay. Are you indeed riding him, Miles?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Not getting into that. So we've got first Trest and then Zinnia, followed by the danger duo of Echo 7 and Sprouts, and then Devasho, bringing up the anchored position.
Yep. Full of complaints and vinegar.
Yeah, walking up this hill, the ground underneath you is like spongy. It's a little wet, so it's both like kind of like capturing your footfalls, but as you like bring them up, you lose traction. It's a little slick, so a little unsure. It would be very uneasy to like run on this ground, but you're able to. It's like walking in a bouncy castle. I imagine big bouncy house. So. Don't ever go in those for the rest of your lives and think about this. A bouncy castle left in the rain. Cool. Right, Trest, you're the first at this other spiracle. What do you do when you get to the top of this hill?
So is it open? Like, can I see in right now?
It's opening and closing. Not quite large enough for you to like walk into, so you'll have to like move it to
sort of like
step through,
open it.
Yeah. So maybe it's like 2 feet across, and then we'll expand and contract a little bit from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to peek in before I just jump through this hole. If I can do that, if I can just sort of grab it and like pull it open and take a look inside.
Make me a stealth check.
Oh. Ruh-roh. 8.
8 in total, or on the dice, or
no, in total. I have a -2.
Oh, I was about to say, I saw it. That was a 10 on the dice. Okay,
I was going for a perception check, but
so like you move your head over in that direction, and
oh boy, do I have another scene for you to describe, as it's a huge chamber, huge fleshy chamber inside. You can see with your dark vision kind of, I think maybe lit up by some glowing elements inside this creature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm using a flashlight, so it's like it's not. Mm-hmm. It's pretty obvious when I'm looking around places.
Okay, I mean, do you have dark vision? No. The entirety of what your beam will catch on here is kind of pulsing and slowly, regularly, with like a rhythm convulsing. The source is fairly clear, as it's only about 10 feet away from what you're able to see from the spherical swamp, and feel it.
Oh my.
It is a massive, throbbing knot of fleshy sacs and tubes protruding from the floor. So it's kind of like built into the bottom of the wall here, mm-hmm. In the center of where your light can reach. Don't think you have to think too hard about this thing. It looks like a 15-foot wide pulsating heart. But beyond that, you see the floor slick with some kind of brackish liquid, and as you're looking inside here, can you actually see? Yes, a figure steps forward into your light, and it's an old friend. It's a classic friend back from on Suskalon. A swarm Korvok lets out a screech into your mind that you can hear outside your environmental protections as well, but one that psychically assaults your brain as it screams out in Sharon, "Intruders! Slay them!" We're going to start some combat here with you making me a will save, Jabert.
Oh boy!
It was almost a 20 on the dice, but a 2 is a fail. DC 14 is using its psychic assault ability a little stronger maybe than the Korvoks you fought on Suskalon. 12 points of psychic damage. Ouch. Well, that's going to start us into some initiative rolls. Everybody, roll them bones.
Glad it took us 40 odd episodes to get to Butthole Mountain.
Come with me, Charlie, to Beehole Mountain.
Like everything, I know you're purposely trying to be professional, but like using words like pulsating tunnels and stuff. It's just this art.
You say that, but then he keeps punctuating with, but then this happens. But then this happens. But then this happens.
Yeah, no, the description of the heart here is a massive throbbing knot of fleshy sacs. I was just like, ugh.
I gotta know when somebody typed that, they were like, "This is gold."
I can already see
turning that Paizo page.
Such and such has unsubscribed from your podcast. Such and such has unsubscribed from your podcast.
I can say I didn't write this book, but I wish I did.
Oh yeah, no. Whoever wrote this was having the time of their lives.
Author Liz Liddell. They killed it. We're not even halfway through, guys. That's how excited I am about this book already. So we are in initiative turn order. That's kicking us off.
Just the tip.
I'm gonna allow you this door to kind of like open up as this Korvox lets out that scream, and we're gonna jump into turn order here and go first to Echo 7, who's rolled really well. What did you roll here, Drew?
I rolled a
19 on the dice. Okay, little good when you're a soldier.
Yeah. Except I got a bunch of cronies to kind of squeeze through to get to where I need to get to here.
Mm-hmm. You can just move past them. No need to squeeze.
So we're gonna bump right here to see if maybe we can get some extra little vision of what's going on.
Yeah, you do have dark vision at this point, right?
Yes, I have dark vision and low light vision.
as you step in the room, you see that it goes much further past this first kind of chamber that holds this heart in the ground. In the back of the chamber, there are thick pools of oily liquid collecting in a couple of the corners of the eastern side here, kind of surging and sloshing in time with the beat. Almost like a toilet backing up in the ground. And around them, we've got some more friends, more fun friends, including this guy, another Korobox. Love to see them. And then this figure here, which is just something new from the descriptions. This is what Huskworld has described as an Epigene. Let me show you the Epigene, what the art looks like.
Huh. Oh, that's like a hate cheering.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say.
I mean, it's maybe a little longer limbed, and it's got some evil spikes coming out the back of it. But it is another bipedal bug creature here. So that was your move action, Drew. What would you like to do for standard?
I would like to take aim with my laser rifle at this closest Korovox here.
Right, it's about 10 feet away.
And take a shot. It's a 23 to hit.
Oh, that's going to be a hit.
For 10 points of damage.
Fire damage, you say?
Yes, this will be fire damage.
Okay. 10 points. Ouch. That hurts a great deal. And that is your turn, bringing us to Zinnia next.
All right, Zinnia is going to also climb through the hole, creepy hole, and
creepy hole. Great. This has got to be the name of the episode. Creepy hole. Will you survive the creepy hole?
How high is the ceiling here? You know,
at least 10 feet. I think maybe a little bit larger in this room, actually. But
well, if that's a 15-foot heart, then.
So that's like how wide it is, but it's kind of set into the ground. You can actually walk on top of the heart, but it looks like it might trip you up a little bit. It might be a little difficult terrain. It seems like this is just like an exposed side of it that seems to be it seems to be set into the floor.
Okay.
So actually, don't.
I assume she can fly in here, right? There is air and stuff. Okay. So she's going to fly up sort of as high as she can and try to stay over in this corner, I guess. And take a shot at this
the Korovox. Drew just shot. Yeah, so you're flying the opposite end of the room, the western end, past the heart here, and taking a shot at this guy.
Oh, before I do that, I mean, I know we've fought these before, but can I identify it?
Yeah, go right ahead. A little easier.
That should do it. That's a 28.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Maybe this one looks a little stronger than the one that you fought on Susklin, but I think you know most everything about it. It does indeed have an acid cannon protruding from one of its arms, an organic acid cannon. It has the Psychic Assault ability, which we just saw in use, and just about every swarm has the Swarm Mine defensive capability. Is there any specific piece of information you want about them? I can give you
since these guys are stronger, can I know KAC and EAC?
Yeah, sure. 15 and 17. 15, okay. 17. For those, why don't you go ahead and take that shot?
All right. All right, CR 11 or lower.
Oh, yeah.
And the attack is a 25, so that actually hits.
Oh, my God.
So, I know. Wow. So that does 27 damage.
Oof. Ouch.
Just way too much.
You love to see it, folks.
Oh, my God. You rolled on 4d8? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, 4d8. You've rolled nothing below a 5. Just so high. So
Zinnia is motivated to get out of this fleshy prison.
Yeah, I am.
Immediately bloodied. from these couple of shots. Let's go on to.
Well, actually, and this isn't part of my turn. Obviously, I already acted, but I just table talk for a second. Like, our mission is to destroy this thing from the inside. Like, would it be worthwhile to be attacking the thing and get out rather than try to fight these people? Or what do y'all think?
I mean, I think that we'll have enough time to sort of like whack away at this this enormous heart if we need to.
I will remind you that from your previous life science roll that you succeeded at handedly, that as soon as you start damaging parts of the extractor imago, the spiracles are going to close up. And
that's true. So
right
we wouldn't
now,
be able to get out.
Right now, Tress and Devasho are on the other side of a spiracle, of a beehole, if you will, so that they would, I mean, you would be locking them in if you attacked right now. But also your means of egress would be a little slowed. So maybe send to.
And also, this is a perfect opportunity for you to study this thing that most of the Pact Worlds haven't encountered before, because they typically show up later in any swarm invasion.
Yeah, Zenny is a lot more comfortable in a lab setting rather than, inside her subject.
No, isn't field work great?
Yeah, no, this this thing is your lab now.
This is what they call on-the-job experience.
You gotta cut out a desk and a chair from the wall and just shape it as best you can, like Play-Doh. Great. All right, that's your turn. Devasho is next, and unfortunately, back here in the respiratory tunnel, the hallway. This isn't going to be difficult terrain or squeezing, but getting through the aperture, the doorway here, is going to take 10 feet of movement instead of 5.
Yeah, it's fine. Make me a fortitude save with this Korvox.
Why?
I'm going to try to grab you.
So you are downhill right now inside of the respiratory tube. No. Tress can at the very top, but you are about 15 feet down, so you'll have to move in to get line of sight.
I'm going to delay until after Trest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so listeners, the reason why I sound so unsure is I'm looking at the map. There's not a lot of 10-foot space for Devasho's individual size to occupy.
There is not where, I mean, you can move in and squeeze into some of these spaces, but you're taking some negatives when you do that. So you want to hold?
I'm gonna hold. Yeah, essentially, I want. I think Devasho's thinking that Trest will move forward, and then Devasho will take up his spot at the sphincter door, and can maybe do something from there.
The sphincter?
Yeah, he's got it.
Oh no! Why is this podcast still on after 3 seasons? Okay, so that actually is going to take us to the Korvox's turn. Bing, bang, bing. And the one that is real beat up and real messed up is going to move backwards a little bit, actually. Well, he's pretty darn close to an Echo 7 and a Sprouts who hasn't gone yet. It's gonna 5-foot step forward and is going to, I think, potentially melee attack one of you. Let's see who is going to attack. Oh, it's going for a flat-footed Sprouts. He's a teeny little guy and doesn't understand why you're riding on this thing's shoulder. Maybe you're the pilot for the suit of armor. It's figuring it's not that smart. It's going to make an attack against you, Miles. What is your KAC right now?
22.
Okay, I have rolled well on this melee claw attack. The 16 on the dice, that is a hit. So, slashing damage coming at you. 11 points of slashing damage, as it is indeed trying to claw you off of Echo 7's shoulder. The other one, there's 2 Korvoxes here, by this pool, is going to guarded step back a little bit. He's going to take a shot at Zinnia, who is flying up in the air. There's only a few combatants in the room right now. He's going to try and shoot you with that acid cannon, Rebecca. What is your EAC?
It's 20 now because I upgraded my armor.
Oh, and I've rolled a 10 on the dice. And that is going to be a hit with the acid cannon. Okay, just a hit here, but a little less damage. A D4, max damage. 8 points of acid damage from its single shot. That is their turn. There's still this creepy looking bug in the back who hasn't acted yet, this other swarm component. But before that, we have Trest.
Oh, right.
Get to move on in.
Yeah, so I'm going to spend 10 feet moving in, and then I'm going to sort of try to position myself up around to the side of this Koravox that's been blasted up pretty good by Echo and Zinnia.
By the way, it's flat-footed.
Oh, it is a flat-footed.
Oh, it's very...
In which case,
because of the trick.
Very easy.
In which case, then I would move in just a little bit further.
Oh.
Yeah.
Patrick, I actually have a question about this.
About what?
So I have a question about Trest's potential movement. So Echo 7's now in powered armor, and powered armor features a melee attack with the armor itself. Does that count me as armed for the purposes of surrounding?
This is a great question. You're attacking with your azimuth laser cannon?
Well, I have the azimuth laser cannon here, but I'm talking for the purposes of...
I know, but I'm asking, do you have anything in your hands right now?
Well, but no, I don't. But I'm thinking the hands could be potentially the weapons in this case.
Right, because your gun is mounted in a weapon mount.
If your gun is mounted, there's nothing in your hands. You, I believe, can threaten with your... You have an attack with your powered armor. But if you have your hands full with like a heavy weapon, it's a swift action to shift it to one hand in the future. Just keep that in mind. But right now, you are potentially flanking buddy, if you will.
So you said it's 10 feet to get through the aperture here?
That's just for a Devasho. You, as a medium creature, can slip through. So
I have 5 more feet of space here.
All right, so you want to get in that flanking position on the other side of the Koravox.
That flank. Oh, flanking buddies. All right. Yeah. So I'm just gonna come right around to this side of this thing and swing my regular sword.
Your feet are kind of sloshing around in this brackish liquid near this pool, but it's not difficult terrain.
Okay. Only a 13 on the attack.
Flat-footed flanking. That is a hit. That's exactly what you needed.
Holy cow. Okay. Woo! Good thing. 12 points of slashing damage.
Oh, and that is nearly exactly as well what you needed to murder this Koravox.
Hooray!
1 down, 2 to go. Devasho, some room opened up here in the chamber. You can see everyone else has cleared out of this respiratory tube. They're calling you in. They're like, come on, Devash. Need that truck's luck.
Devasho, we have already murdered one of the opponents. It would be nice if you could show up to work today.
Goodness gracious. Is Tyler angry right now or Devasho? we need to know, Tyler.
Oh, it's both.
We are one mind.
Yeah, I feel like Devasho comes out of his sphincter prison and he's kind of covered. He's covered in unmentionables, and he is.
Oh yeah, you're scraping all up against the wall.
Yeah,
particulates and things.
He looks at his friend, and he's just shooting just orbs of negative energy at him. But oh wait, orb. He's only got one eye. I can't even glare at you properly.
Keep your eye on the prize, Devasho.
As he moves, though, he's taking out that singing disc, and he just kind of looks at you, glares at you, and then he's going to heave it at that unknown swarm component as hard as he can.
The Epigene, yes, has not gone in this combat yet. Seems to be minding this pool that it's standing in front of. Go ahead, make that attack.
He doesn't. He wants it. He just wants it so incredibly dead.
Guys, I'm so excited to be back to fighting actual swarm components. They're so gross and so much fun.
Does a 17 hit its EAC?
It just does.
That's gonna be 12 points of sonic damage, and then the disc wedges into the walls of the creature before he snaps his hands and shoots the disc back.
Your disc does damage to the walls of this chamber?
Probably not.
I think that's what you just described fluff-wise.
I said.
How does it work? Does it come back immediately?
For Blair, it's a swift action to just recall back.
All right, then you get it just before it digs into the wall. And that is your turn.
Echo 7 reaches out to do like that wrist like bump with one of Devasho's secondary, tertiary arms.
No, not now. I'm too angry at you. Later.
Sprouts Marlowe, believe it or not, we're on to you. 8 on the initiative.
Man, this has felt like a 45-minute combat.
It's a long turn number 1, yes.
So Sprout is going to go after, the guy that attacked him is dead, so he's going to go after his little buddy.
The other Korvox standing in the back of this room.
That old Red Star plasma pistol.
Get him.
That's a CR7 or lower.
Oh, that is a trick.
So he's flat-footed. 21 to hit.
That is a hit.
So that's 3 plus the additional 9. That's 11 points of damage, or 12 points of damage, rather.
Pretty good. That is like the opposite of what Rebecca rolled, though, because you don't have anything that is 5 or above on these damage dice. But still, the first damage on this Korvox, and it is unhappy.
So just to point out, Miles rolled very low on his damage. It's exactly how much both Devasho and Trest did.
Yeah, no, like my numbers are in red, which means it's the lowest they can possibly be.
You rolled some ones there. Anyway, I just like the operatives doing different things and being very different. I was worried you guys were going to just like always be hitting, always do the exact same damage.
We seem to swap off. Like
we
one or the other is rolling well.
It's nice. I like having 2 operatives.
Okay, we are on to the Epigene, who's going to, I think, guarded step forward a little bit, and you see its clawed hand crackling with electrical energy as it kind of like holds it out Iron Man style, and is going to, I believe, give a jolt in the direction of a Devasho who just hit it. This is a bioelectric arc attack. Mm-hmm. What is your EAC right now, Tyler?
Let me double check.
I'm going to roll them dice.
22.
Very respectable. Okay.
Oh, 19 on the dice. Come on.
It took a while for that digital dice to roll up, but it was worth the wait. A super hit from this one, and yeah, we're getting some not too much, but some electrical damage on you. 7 points of electrical damage, and in addition to that, can it do this and that as well?
5 to make a fortitude save. I'm going to be upset.
Nope, that's what's gonna do on its turn. But something else happening here. Mm-hmm. Jabert Trest, as you're standing by this pool, it expands, and the liquid kind of like rushes around your ankles, rushes by you, and you start feeling a tug as it is trying to suck you down into what you can tell now is some kind of huge ventricle leading out of this room.
Ruh-roh.
This is going to be a special attack. This is going on initiative count 0 here, and is trying to suck you down. This is an attack against your KAC +4, so it's going to be fairly high. What is your KAC?
Right now it's a 22, so you want a 26.
All right, I have a huge bonus, but I still got to roll. Oh, I've got to roll well, and I did. An 18 on the dice, and that is going to be enough. You are, everyone else sees Trest there one moment, and then the next you are sucked down. What was a German kid in
Augustus
Gloop.
You are Augustus Glooped right out of this room.
Trust Augustus Gloop.
Yeah, you've moved your character almost the exact place you think you're going to be going, kind of southward, as you indeed feel gravity. You can feel yourself being like kind of pushed downward, and you can see this. You're like in a river of blood or some kind of other brackish material that was being pumped into this room, and you will have an action next turn, but you are not there anymore right now.
Cool.
This is fun.
Oh, good.
It's so weird, but yeah, you guys, the rest of you back in the heart chamber. There are now 4 of you. 4 against 2, though, still pretty good odds. And we're going to the top of turn 2, believe it or not. Echo 7, your turn.
All right, so Echo 7 is going to take aim at the eastern Korvox, and we're going to try some heavy fire.
Oh, my.
It's a full round action.
Dak attack.
Right.
It's 20 to hit.
That will hit.
For 13 plus 4 points of damage, so that's 17 points of damage.
Ouch, ouch,
Very
ouch.
good.
It is immediately bloodied from, once again, just 2 shots from Team Midnight Squad. Youchers. Zinnia, on to you.
All right, do I have a clear line of sight of the Korvox?
I think Devasho is kind of standing in your way, so giving a little bit of cover, but it's also still flat-footed right now, so that kind of cancels it out.
Alternatively, do I have line of sight to the mysterious thing?
The Epigene, yeah. You can see right over the heart. Like I said, it's kind of embedded into the ground, so.
Okay, great. Okay, before I take a shot, I want to try to identify that thing.
Go right ahead. I can hopefully tell you some information about it.
It's a 27.
So, 27, it is a certain CR. With your bonuses in xenobiology, you get to know 2 pieces of information about the swarm Epigene. Effigene.
Okay, do I know anything yet? We didn't get any prior knowledge, really.
It had a ranged electrical attack, which is one of its special abilities. If you ask for a special ability, I'll give you something else.
Sure, special ability.
This guy is basically almost like a mechanic, a biomechanic for the swarm, as it has an ability called Invigorate Swarm, where it can use its standard action to manipulate the bioelectrical chemicals in a swarm component's body and give them a extra move to use. So it can, if it wanted to on its turn, it could just move this Korvox right up into melee range for the party. Another piece of information. Anything else you want to know?
Any resistances?
Immunities to acid and fear effects. No other resistances.
Okay.
Taking a shot against this one then?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to take a shot. All right, so CR 10 or lower.
That is a trick.
A trick, so it's flat-footed, and then the attack is only a 15 against EAC.
I think that's it.
Against flat-footed EAC, that is also a hit.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right, so that does 14 damage.
All right, this is the second bit of damage on this one. It's still looking very strong. It is heartily built, a little stockier perhaps than the Korvoxes. All right, that is going to bring us to our Korvox here, who has taken some hits, is bloodied, and I think if it sees that you've taken a hit on it, Zinnia, it's going to move to kind of get into a defensive position in front of the Epigene, and it's going to take a shot back at you. Another acid cannon shot coming from the... actually, no, it's going to use its psychic assault ability. So make me a will save.
So
All right.
No, it's SU. Yes, SU, supernatural ability. It's using its brain. Oh no.
Oh, that's a natural 20.
Okay,
For a 25.
half damage on this. Psychic damage. Only 5 points get through as you are able to shut out this terrible bug screeching in your brain. That is its entire turn, though. And Trest, we are back to you in
another chamber. You can see the blood or whatever this material is kind of leaching out and going into what looks like a few different almost rivulets of the material here in what seems to be a room south or underneath the heart chamber. Do you have life science? Do you have any ranks?
I don't have any ranks on that.
Make me a general intelligence check.
Sure. 17.
Oh, that's pretty good. So you can already kind of sense it around you. You think that if you wait, you might be able to get just sucked right back into the room as it is, bringing blood out,
pumps in,
bringing
pumps
it back
out. Yeah.
Yes, but that would be your entire turn basically.
Yeah. So the question is, do I just want to keep moving forward or just wait? I mean, I guess I'm just gonna wait.
You're just gonna pretend you're in a log flume and just get ready.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'm just like, I sort of pull the sword in tight, and I sort of tighten up for a swing. Like, as soon as I pop out, I'm just going to swing the sword at something or other.
You know what? I will allow you to hold an action if that is indeed what you want to do. Hold a sword attack. That's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah.
Devasho, we're on to you.
the bug blood strike.
I kind of want to make this happen by pulling this Korvax 5 feet closer to the hole.
Push it in. Just go down there.
Yeah, exactly. Just shove it into the hole. But I should probably do what I'm designed to do, which is hit something.
Boo.
I know. It's rough. I'm going to take it. I'm going to use a new ability of mine. I can only use this once a day, but this seems as good as any. I'm going to take a 10-foot guarded step.
What? You're just making up rules now, Tyler.
I'm just making up. It's just another necrograph, people.
Oh my goodness. Makes sense. You're a large creature, but you're getting right up in both the Korvax and the Epigene's range here. Who are you attacking?
I am. I mean, if video games have taught me anything, kill the support class first. So we're gonna go after the Epigene.
Epigene, yeah. Go right ahead and make that attack. It is flat-footed right now.
Hey, I'll take it.
Oh no. Super hit.
Does a 30 hit your flat-footed EAC?
Have we hit
KC?
a 30 AC yet on the show? I'm sure we have, but I have not seen them very often this season so far. Super hit. How much damage?
17 points of shield to your face.
Wow. It's bloodied, believe it or not, from a couple hits from your Solarian. Who knew they do a lot of damage every once in a while? Ouch. Okay, so it's looking very weak after you've battered it with your singing disc. You've hit it with your shield. Sprouts Marlowe, onto you, back here on Echo 7's shoulder.
Yeah. So I'm gonna still shoot after the same villain I tried to shoot last time.
The Korvax, right?
Yes, the Korvax. I used general terms because I couldn't remember the specific name. But yes, the Korvax. And here's hoping I roll well.
Got this.
And I don't. CR 6 or lower, so the trick lands.
Trick lands, but natural toot on the attack is a miss.
Yeah.
No matter what here. So nothing there. We're going on to the Swarm Ephigene, who might be in fight or flight mode, and Swarm almost only fight. I think it's going to make a couple of melee attacks against a Devasho. It does not know you're an armored Trox walking tank, but 2 attacks coming at you, Tyler.
You can roll high.
I did, and I didn't.
Yeah, that's
natural 1 on the dice is gonna be a critical fail, and the natural 18 is gonna be hit. Hey, I've got that going for me. What's your KAC? Let me double check that.
I'm sure it is. My KAC's not that high. It's
Yeah,
only
you don't have a-
It's only 23.
Don't have a shield.
Yeah,
aligned.
it's not aligned.
Okay, so this is actually a high enough CR to do a critical fail.
Yes.
Believe it or not,
Wow, that's rare.
it is pretty rare for some of these creatures.
No, please say the next attack automatically misses, therefore nullifying this 18 on the dice.
Yeah, these guys are a CR 5, and this is a melee attack, doing well. It does energy and slashing damage. Why don't you guys pick? Which one would you like it to do? A kinetic or an energy fail?
I think kinetic makes the most sense, right?
Sure.
Oh, it's real bad. it's real bad. This is so weird. It's called sprained my snargly. That's maybe a body part of a swarm Epigene, a snargly. It moves 2 steps down the strength poison track. Whoa. There's some negatives to it.
Pretty nice.
Oh, that's the opposite of nice. I don't like it at all. I'm gonna look that up, but I believe that is
still be a hit.
Yeah, I believe it's going to affect the second attack, but that's still going to be a hit because I have like a +7 here. So let me do that damage from the 1 hit that did. I think that it will potentially lessen the damage to roll that damage. Beautiful damage dice. I'm going to look this up. It's 9 damage right now, Tyler.
Okay.
And let's go on to...
I think initiative 0, do I pop back out?
I think we're on to Trest, yeah, on initiative 0.
Boy.
So I'm going to say you can like automatically fail against this thing grabbing you and sucking you back up. And if you want, you can just pop out like a blood mermaid next to the Korvox and make your attack. It's absolutely gross.
Chop! And this one is not flat-footed or anything like that?
I don't believe so. Not this round.
Oh, roll good! Hey, roll good. Pee-pee!
24 is a hit. How much damage are we talking?
11 points of damage.
Ooh, that is enough to kill that Korvox.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to use my glory medallion and move right up into flanking position.
Oh, my goodness. Running right past the flat-footed Epigene.
What a dope move.
That's going to bring us to the end of turn 2 and top of turn 3. Echo 7, back to you.
If I was to shoot from this position, would Devasho be giving any cover to this dude here?
I think to the Epigene, yes. The Korvox was kind of around the corner from the big guy, but he's almost entirely behind it.
All right, I'm going to move then. I don't want to move too much, though. If I just moved to the east 1 space, would that clear that?
Yep, that'd give you a clear shot.
All right, we're going to do that then. We're going to take a shot with the azimuth artillery laser again.
The classic. Toot toot
Toot toot kaboom! It's a 13 to hit.
Even against flat-footed, that is a miss. Sorry, Drew.
Wah wah.
Oh, perhaps Zinnia will help out. Rebecca, your turn.
All right, here's hoping. So Zinnia, similarly, is going to move to get out of Devasho, from behind Devasho, basically, before taking a shot.
Alrighty.
It's a CR 14 or lower on the trick.
Yeah,
so
hit.
And the attack is a 19
Oh my. How much damage we
for 15 damage.
15.
And that's all red numbers, baby. 15 in the red numbers.
Oh,
They're not all red numbers, but
it's really hurt. But it is still up after that sonic assault on it. But it doesn't have any Korvoxes guarding it right now, which means it is Devasho's turn.
It's flat-footed.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm flanking.
Yeah.
I'm full attacking.
Oh no. This is how combats go long. Let's see it.
Dack the first.
Basically no negatives right now.
Yeah, it's just straight rolls, so why not? 29.
That's how you do it.
Ooh, an 18. Tyler's dice are on fire.
Dack the second.
That is
27.
We didn't need the second one because this thing is very dead.
Nice.
I was just styling on you for that second attack.
Good job, Tyler.
Tyler, pulling those high attack rolls and high
I'm
damage
glad after
numbers
3
out.
books, Devasho has decided to join the combat.
It's almost like Echo 7 prompting him to show up to work today. Pulled something out of him.
Yeah, this is the Tyler I remember from season 1. This is the Tyler that I.
That is going to do it for this combat, and you guys can start catching your breath, looking over these swarm bodies here. But almost as soon as you do, the spiracle at the end of this room, the western end of it, is going to open up, and another classic swarm villain steps through. One of the Escachides that we got to fight last week, and will obviously scream out in its horrific bug language, to be continued. Oh, there's more combat inside this gross bug. Who would have thought? That's gonna...
Do I get sucked down the hole again?
If you want. If you want, Chipper, yes.
You're like, okay, bye-bye.
It's a tactical retreat.
Turns out it's not that bad. It's like a water slide.
That's right.
Hey
It's like
guys, I found a blood elevator. It's
like
fun.
it's flotation therapy, where they put the Epsom salts and
It
stuff.
says it in the AP. If you've got your environmental protections on, yeah, you're pretty much good.
It's like
You're not
Six Flags
sucking
white
into it.
water, but with a slightly more copper taste.
Okay. I'm going to go wash my mouth, my hands, and scrub my eyes with bleach after GMing this week's episode. Guys, thanks so much for playing with me.
Thank you.
Thank
Patrick.
you.
Oh, thanks,
Listeners, thank you for not subscribing. We'll see you next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Cosmic Crit. This episode has been made possible through a sponsorship with Roll20, and the backing of our Critamanda fans on Patreon. Thanks again and have a great week.